Oh, I'm on. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday, guys. I hope you've had a really good Saturday with your family or just chilling by yourself. That would be awesome too. I'm actually craving one of those days, chilling by yourself on a Saturday. I promised to come in here and do part 2 of the Q&A because we did not have time to get through them all yesterday. And so here I am. It's a little bit later than I thought. Apologies, but it's just, family life. And if you do hear screaming kids, that's because they've been told to clean up outside this van that I've retreated to. So if you hear that, that's why. Now, I know there's been issues with the website today. They have now been fixed. Thank you for your patience. So if you've been holding out, you can go ahead and order your blends if that's what you want to do. Now, part 2 of the Q&A, I'm going to dig right in. Melissa Manning said, do we still have access to the ebook and also the discount for the booster blends? Also, will we still have access to the videos once the bootcamp ends? I haven't had a chance to get through them all yet. Melissa, I totally get it. The videos will be available until Wednesday when we archive the group. The reason being that we have already a couple of groups, like main groups that we maintain all the time and engage in and turn up in. If we have too many that keep going, it just gets a bit too much for us. So we did tell everyone, anyone that orders blends before midnight tonight will have lifetime access to the videos. Otherwise, you can purchase them online, but they will be available to you. Apologies, they're available to you until Monday midnight when the code ends. I hope that's clear. Now for the ebook also, yes, we usually sell the ebook for $15, which is a steal anyway, but you can download it for free until also Monday midnight. So that's how long the ebook is available for. I think that's it. Melissa, I hope that helped your question. Grace said, the 1 serve of smoothie blend is it same for the kids as it is for the adults? Does 1 serve depend on the amount of smoothie we make? Are all ingredients meant for kids as well? Also, how long can we watch the videos for? I haven't seen them all. Oh, that's a trend. So, Grace, yep, videos until Monday midnight. 1 serve of the smoothies for kids, well, for our kids, they're not going to get through the same amount of smoothie that Jordan and I get through. So I think it's unrealistic to expect a child to eat or drink the same amount of blend. So no, our kids would probably go through half a serve if they're lucky, maybe a third of our smoothie is what they'd probably get through. We have a 14-year-old who would get through easily half, if not more. But the younger ones, they only need a bit, really. So no, you don't need to use a whole serve for them. In terms of whether the ingredients are suitable for kids, I will actually email you the official advice from our the naturopath and the nutritionist who we consulted with in the development of these smoothie blends. Their advice was that they would definitely give it to their own kids without hesitation, but as health professionals, they have to go and check what the official stance is. Both moringa and maca powder are listed as novel foods, and that means that sufficient studies have not yet been done on them to determine their safety for children and pregnant women. That being said, there have been some studies which show very positive results, but the TGA and the associated bodies being as they are, they do like to have really robust studies before they can approve it. So it is technically classed a novel food. So maca and moringa, which are in the Brain Boost smoothie, are technically not recommended as a supplement to put in supplements for children. That being said, the naturopath and nutritionist did say they would give it to their own kids, and we've been giving it to our kids since they're really little as well. So I will send you that official advice over the weekend so you can click through the links and see the studies and make your own decision about that. Katie said, are the oats in the blends gluten-free? Oh, we did answer that one yesterday. Heidi, are you thinking of making nut-free blends? Heidi, yes, I think I answered your question in the comments, but we are not yet, it's not yet on the radar. We've got keto and vegan on the radar for next month, an anti-inflammatory smoothie after that. We haven't had a huge demand for nut-free smoothies yet, Heidi, but if we do, we will certainly make them. And I'm sorry that they're not available for you just yet, because I know how frustrating it can be when you have a restriction in the way that you eat and then something's not available for you. So I apologize, and I hope to one day have the nut-free blends for you. Mel said, is 1 tablespoon of date paste equivalent to 1 medjool date? Great question, Mel. So what you need to remember for the date paste is that it's half water and half dates. So any volume of date paste that you use, basically just halve that, and that's kind of like the date portion. So I've typically found that 2 tablespoons of date paste is 1 like medjool date, I guess you could say. So I hope that helps. But you can gauge it. I did go through the math. I did work it out once. I measured everything before I made it, and then I weighed it and checked it all. And I'm pretty sure that was the result, was 2 tablespoons to 1 date. Emma said, which blend is best for an anti-inflammatory diet, or will you be making one? Great question, Emma. And as you might have just heard, it is in the pipeline. We're actually assisting a health influencer to make an anti-inflammatory smoothie blend, and we may be able to offer it to you guys as well as part of that, so watch that space. But basically, if you're wanting to follow an anti-inflammatory diet, the best add-ons for your smoothie would be things like avocados. They go great in your base. Cacao powder, of course. You gotta have cacao powder. Like, I don't know what cacao powder doesn't do, but that's also great for reducing that inflammation. Mushrooms, I have been able to get away with like a half mushroom in my smoothie, but you don't really want to go more than that, because you can taste it. Other things, I did make some, of course, turmeric. Turmeric is a dead set winner for using in an anti-inflammatory diet. To get lots of turmeric in, I love to have, now I've forgotten the name, a golden milk. It's kind of just like, it's a turmeric latte, basically. It's coconut milk, turmeric, and I put ginger, some cardamom in there. It's so beautiful on a winter's night. Let me know if you want me to post the recipe in the group for like a turmeric latte, because that's really great for reducing that inflammation. You can get away with some in your smoothie, but if you're really wanting to reduce that inflammation right down, you want to have turmeric multiple times a day and be having as much as you can in. Coconut oil is another good one. I think that's probably good for smoothies, except for these 2 suggestions. A greens powder is really great for reducing that inflammation down as well. So if that's your goal, you could grab the detoxify smoothie that's already got greens in it, and then you're adding more greens yourself in it. Or you could go for the chock all rounder because of the cacao, and have some greens, like a greens drink on the side throughout the day. Moringa is also a fantastic one for reducing that inflammation down. So those, I hope that helps when you're crafting an anti-inflammatory blend. But like I said, watch this space, because we'll come out with one soon. Okay, another question. We answered that one yesterday. Heidi. Oh, Heidi, that's such a good question. Okay, so Heidi asked, how do you go about checking on your gut health to know what you're missing? I know some of you may have seen that we're on this journey right now with our daughter. We're trying to rid her of a big parasite and 2 bacterial overgrowths in the gut. So what we found is that she had this wonderful baseline, like robust, diverse microbiome. She was in the 91st percentile of her diversity in her gut, which was amazing. And so the gut specialist that we were seeing just gave us huge props for that, and said that will make her balancing out of her gut a lot easier. And so how you can check how your gut health is tracking is through a stool test. You can get a stool test through a GP covered with Medicare. There are limitations to those ones, and what I would suggest is actually taking the results of that stool test, not necessarily to your GP unless you've got a really good GP. The GPs that I've had experience with, I probably wouldn't be satisfied with their quick churn time and knowledge of the gut. And so what I would do is I'd take it to someone who knows a lot more about the gut. There are some very good naturopaths out there. The one that we go to is Gut Guru. I always call her the Gut Guru, Kirsty Worth from Cultured Wellness. So we're working with her head coach, Alyssa, at the moment with Kaya, and we've got a stool test. We're awaiting the results for Rosie as well. So that's what I would suggest. It's so powerful knowing what's going on and not just guessing. And actually that's Kirsty's catchphrase is test, don't guess. Because so often if we're bloating, we're just guessing what the issue is. But if we go and get the stool test, it's just science, like it's there in the report. And it's actually so fascinating to see. We got the report done through Microba, and that they give you a very impressive report. Oh, okay, still there. It was told that the phone just told me that I disconnected, but I'm back. So the report that Microba gave us was super user-friendly, like a lay person like me could read and understand exactly what was going on. But we did then take it to Kirsty and she dissected it for us. So that's what I would do, Heidi, is I would either go to your GP and get a stool test, or I'd go to a good naturopath or Cultured Wellness and get your stool test through them. Belinda said, does MCT oil have a taste? Belinda, not like coconut oil does. So a lot of people can dislike the taste of coconut oil. But MCT oil, although it's made from coconut oil, is really quite tasteless. Of course, if you're going to use a whole lot, then yeah, you'll probably get a bit of that like oily coconutty taste. But really, if you're putting a tablespoon in your smoothie, I don't personally notice it. And MCT oil is quite well known for not being noticeable in things. So I think you'll be safe using MCT oil in the taste factor. I apologize for my voice. I don't quite know what's going on with it today. It feels a bit strained, and I know you can hear it, so I'm sorry. It's not very nice to listen to my voice right now. And hello, Pauline and Sharon and Kylie. Nice to see you. Lauren has asked, can you use too much of a blend eventually after building up? Does your body send signals that it has too much of any particular nutrient? I think that's such a great question, Lauren. Sometimes our bodies will crave certain things because it knows we need it. I like to tell myself that's why I crave chocolate. Often that can just be the sugar addiction talking. But typically, I saw someone post in the group today, was it Sharon? Oh dear, I've forgotten. Jordan actually told me about it. He said someone posted in the group today saying that they were craving the green detoxify smoothie and they wanted to just get all those greens in. And I think that's a fabulous indication that your body does want more of that. On the flip side, I was having chia puddings a lot when we were developing the chia pudding recipe that we offer at the Whole Food Collective. And I was using a lot of the coconut cream in that chia pudding, and my body after just a short while was like, no, I just can't have any more of that coconut cream. It was so heavy. So then we swapped over to coconut water in the chia pudding and I was fine. So I think that your body will definitely give you signs. Having said that, I'm not a health professional, so I can't give you a hard and fast answer. But I do listen to a lot of health professionals, and I think that they would concur, saying that your body will give you those signals. What I find is that I will gravitate to certain blends at certain times. Like if I was going purely by taste, I would gravitate to the chocolate rounder because I just love chocolate. But I will know when I need a certain thing because I'll be going for that detoxify or I'll be going for that immunity blend because my body does sense that it needs something in there. A lot of people choose to have one each day of the week and just get a very balanced approach, and that's awesome too because gee whiz, the amount of diversity that you're getting. And if you want to know more about diversity, listen to yesterday's Q&A. I did a bit of a rant about diversity. But yeah, you can either listen to your body and go with what you think it needs, or just go with what you love the taste of, or have that balanced approach. Really, you can't go wrong because they are just all really high quality whole foods. It's all food. We're not dealing with supplements. We're not dealing with any chemicals or anything in there. It's, you really can't go wrong is what I'm trying to say. So you can't have too much of these smoothies unless you're going too heavy on the fruit, which is going to give you lots of fructose intake. So if you're going to have lots of smoothies, make sure that you're going veggie heavy on the base rather than fruit heavy on the base. And I would also suggest not only ever having smoothies, because your body does need to chew. The cephalic stage of our digestion, which, that's the part where our body starts making digestive acids for our to digest our food. So 30% of that is generated when we chew. That just the mechanical motion of chewing in our mouth helps our brain to tell our gut to produce those digestive enzymes. And so that's another good reason to add toppers, things like cacao nibs or little sunflower seeds or something on top, so that you kind of chew or eat your smoothie. That's a great option. Having said that, it's only 30% of that cephalic stage is the chewing. The other 70% are things like sight, smell, sound, all those senses that we keep talking about in those tips that we shared early on. Oh, look, our children are strangling each other. Just thought you'd like to see that. So yes, it's you can have. I would be so comfortable having 2 smoothies a day. I'd get really sick of it if I had 3 smoothies a day, just to be real. Even though I love the smoothies, but chewing's important. So, Joe Whitehead, is there any loss of potency or benefit if half the smoothie is kept for the next day in the fridge, of course? So I did actually answer this one yesterday, so I'll skip over it, but suffice to say that there's a marginal drop in nutrients if you're keeping it in the fridge, but it's not significant enough to avoid doing it if it means you're not going to have those nutrients. It's only marginal, so yes, I think that's totally fine. Jody. Okay, I've just read Jody's question. She said, can you please show photos of your freezer when it's prepped and organized? I'm struggling big time with fitting everything in mine. Jody. Yes. Okay, so Jody was probably present in the live yesterday when I said our freezer's a bit out of control right now and it's making life a bit more difficult than it should be. And so, yes, I will clean it out, Jody, and I will show you the pictures over in our main Facebook group, because it's not going to be done before Wednesday when this group closes. So go on over and join us at the Whole Food Collective community, and I will show you my freezer. I have been lucky in that when we moved to this new house, we've got like a double fridge freezer. So on the right-hand side, it's top to bottom fridge, and on the left-hand side, it's top to bottom freezer. So I do probably have more freezer space than a lot of other, the freezers that are top fridge, bottom freezer, or vice versa. But I'm sure I can give some advice. We'll see. I don't know who asked this question, sorry, but the question was, how can we sign up to the Whole Food Collective? How would it work? Benefits and cost. You don't actually need to sign up. You just go onto the website, and when you see things you love, you can shop. We do have quite a good rewards program actually, where you can get up to like 15% off. And so you earn points every time you shop. And so you start at 5% off, and then you get 10% off when you reach a certain amount, and it goes up to 15. The benefit, sorry, I don't know your name, but the benefits are that, of course, the first and foremost, we put so much work into vetting the products that we offer at the Whole Food Collective. We have this expert panel. I won't bore you with the details right now because I have gone into it before at the Q&A yesterday, I think. But that's one of the things that sets us apart, is that we dig into those spec sheets that suppliers give us. Like, we went back to one supplier 6 times to clarify the processing methods of one ingredient within one product. And they said, you guys, even the big supermarket chains don't ask us this many questions, and we're just a little guy. Like, why should we spend so much time answering your questions? And so, like, that's an indication of how much work we put into this, because we just feel so strongly that there is a lot of confusion in the marketplace that is caused by incomplete information being given to the end consumer. And so we want to really stop that. We really want to have a transparent food system. We also don't wholesale, and so all of our stuff is fresh. All of our blends we make in small batches, fresh, and so we can make it one day and ship it on the same day pretty much. Sometimes next day, sometimes it might be like less than a week. And so those, that's one advantage. And then we also ship it straight to your door. So I hope that answers your question. And if you have any more, let me know. Okay, we have another question. We're almost there, guys. The question was, do you blanch kale before freezing it? And then they've asked another question, is the carrot raw or blanched? Okay, so I'm sorry that I don't know your name. With my kale, I typically get it straight from the farmer's market and I will put it in my freezer as is, like covered, of course. The reason... Hey, George, you want to say hi?
Hey!
Oh, okay. The reason that I do that is because it keeps it really fresh. So as you'd know, the longer your fresh produce sits in the fridge, the less, like, it does lose nutrients over time, and it just becomes less appealing to eat as well because it goes all limp, and then you're left with a, like, and how often do you ever go through a whole bunch of kale? I would never go through a whole bunch of kale in a week because I hate raw kale with a passion. I never use it in salads. I just can't stand it. But I can eat quite a bunch, eat quite a lot throughout the week when I put some in my smoothie. The caveat that I would put with that is that if you have thyroid issues, then you want to avoid having any raw cruciferous veggies like kale, broccoli, or cauliflower. Hello, girls. Do you want to say hello? No. So, yeah, because if you have raw cruciferous veggies contain something called goitrogens. It's kind of a funny word to say, but that can impact people who have poor thyroid function. So if you do have thyroid issues, then do steam or blanch your cruciferous veggies before putting it into your smoothie. But otherwise, I'm confident using that raw. When it comes to the carrot, I actually don't typically use carrot in my smoothies. That being said, I think the reason you're asking is because Jordan mentioned yesterday that he puts carrot in his kale, choc, ginger smoothie. He puts it in raw, his hardcore. But the blender typically does cope with it. If your blender doesn't, then I would suggest steaming it first and then pureeing it to freeze it. So I hope that's good. We're up to the last question. Can you believe it? We had a bunch of questions yesterday and a bunch of questions today, and we have actually made it to the end, unless you guys have more in the chat here. Hello, Mitchie. Okay, Laura said, do you cut up the ginger first or does the blender handle it okay? That's an easy question. Laura, your blender will be able to tell you the answer to that one. Our blender, we typically put it in little chunks and then put it into the blender, and that seems to be okay. Having said that, like we've been saying, we're actually not too happy with the current blender we have. We love the Kenwood Multi-Pro, and I've heard amazing things about the Vitamix, and so I'm actually tossing up getting one or the other again very soon. If I do get a Vitamix, I'm hoping to do a group buy so that we can all benefit from a lower price point from Vitamix. I'm kind of in conversations with them at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. They don't want to be on camera, but they're still being annoying. So guys, I hope that answers all your questions. Please do sing out. We are pretty available this weekend, so we'll jump on and we'll try to type out answers to your questions in the group, or we can do another quick little Q&A like this one. Oh, sorry, Mitchie, I see yours now. Is there any tips with banana in the freezer to get the best flavour? Haha. Okay, so if you're going for the best flavour in the banana, then hands down, you want to wait for it to ripen, because obviously that's when the sugars develop and it gets really nice and sweet. So some people freeze banana with the skin still on. I detest doing it that way because I think it's just so hard to get that skin off again when you then want to use it in the smoothie. So I think there are benefits in that it's more eco-friendly than using freezer bags over and over. So I would suggest you either get a really good quality big snap lock bag that you can reuse and reuse and reuse, or get a silicone food pouch that you can get at the Whole Food Collective. The other option, there was a third option. What was that? I'll let you know if it comes to me. But flavour-wise, just make sure it's developed in ripening, and take the skin off and put it in your bag and put it in the freezer. That's all I do. I don't really do anything else fancy to it. Anyone else have any questions? So just a reminder, the ebook is free for download and the videos are all available for a binge watch until midnight Monday, and then it all goes away. You'll also get lifetime access to the videos if you place an order by midnight tonight. Otherwise, the code will run out Monday midnight. The group will stay open though until Wednesday morning. You're welcome, Mishi. All right, guys, have a beautiful weekend. Thank you to all those wonderful people who have shown some support and crazy, showing some support and really said thank you in the comments in this group. We love pouring ourselves into this boot camp. It's just so much fun for us. We love it. And it's also fun to see those orders coming through because I know that so much goodness is going out in those courier vans to you guys, into your homes, into your bellies, into your children's bellies, and it just makes us very happy to know that. Hello, Lala. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a wonderful weekend. See you guys.